Dear Venerable Sisters and Dhamma friends, we are going to start another common interviews, another session of common interviews. So today Sunil is not there, it is good. So we are going to have another announcer. Ready? Ready? So we'll start with all written questions. We cordially invite any other statements or any questions to be raised. But we'll start with all these written one, please.
Most Venerable Bhante, in Anapanasati meditation, when the breath is not perceivable, I keep my mind at the place where the breath touched, on the tip of the left or right nostril. As there is nothing to do now, I stay in this manner as instructed for a long time. Then after some time, I get bored and I feel I want to stop my meditation and get up. It is a hopeless feeling. So the intention to stop and get up is very strong. And I used to do just that. But recently I listened to a sermon given by you, and you said that a state of this nature will present in your meditation, and this is a nibbida, a kind of spiritual disenchantment, and not to stop the meditation, but to go on and overcome this state. Venerable Bhante, I humbly ask of you to give more instructions on how to tackle such a situation and get over it.
I am very happy the way the question presented. It is talking about the difficulties and how one episode finished and again leading to another one, and kind of it is going on. There are a lot of events, a lot of episodes one has to go through, so it is a matter of time. So the last part of the question is to ask more instructions. This is not an instruction. The way the Buddha expects us to work. He says in the Bhottapada Sutta, of course monks, this is a suffering. No question. But you know, according to your historical events, you are less with defilements. So that is the only thing I have to appreciate. The second thing is, you reach this not by an accident. It is after an effort of discipline, restrainment. So for these two indicates, this is the maximum for the moment you can reduce. So consider this as a full-fledged mindfulness. Consider this as a full-fledged clear comprehension. Consider this as a full, complete reason for you to be hilarious and be glad and be happy. And then when you are look at that point, you will put the solitude forward, the freedom forward, and the peace of mind forward. Otherwise, rational mind always find some kind of a case, some kind of a event. That is called eventful situation, eventfulness. This is the way the mind keeps itself busy. But now no event, so therefore it finds very difficult to cope up with, because it has nothing to get excited with. Each and every excitement is due to clinging. Each and every excitement in the life is due to a clinging. Now no excitement means it's a very clear sign, no clinging. So that means for the moment you are bearing up with the first noble truth, and you are not creating new seeds for agony or torturing to start. That happiness is there. But this is maybe due to the past karmic forces or something like that, but they are one-way process. They are going off, not creating new seeds. So that is philosophical analysis. Nothing related with the meditation. But it is also kind of contemplation, very healthy contemplation. And moment you try to understand this in sitting meditation, if you could put into the correct perspective, I will guarantee you, soon you will find exactly the same in walking meditation. And exactly you after getting up also the same. Then what is the use of getting up? In single we call kabalin lipata vatena. So now we are in such a situation, after getting up, of course, there's a dramatic thing happen, but after again you are in the same person, you are in the same contemplation, same mindfulness, same comprehension. So you get up and see what is the change happen. It's only the broken of the change, trend. Just changing this thing and nothing. Therefore, you have to understand how tricky the mind is. If you are going to give what is the mind needs, what is the volitional needs, it is never for your benefit, never for your well-being. It has some another agenda, more rather beyond that your well-being. So therefore you have to get up also. And after getting up also, see now you think end up the meditation. Ending up of meditation is not the getting up. Even you got up, you are in the meditation. Only the change of the posture. So this is what the politicians are doing. If they wish to keep the country busy, they make one or the other thing, juggleries. They plan number of years before, some or the other things, make the advantage of the eventful thing happens, or they do something. So this is the way they run the country. So this is the way that you are running economy by the economists. This is the way the social people are running the societies in order to keep themselves busy. Exactly the same though. I said, we can't find fault with the politicians because inside we also have exactly the politicians. So this is a reasoning out. So it is a kind of a radical or rational thinking. 2 points. Now the mind stream of consciousness is less and less with the defilement. Second thing, it is not an accident. It is happening with the discipline. So last Thursday, yesterday morning we had a talk up there. And there also I try to analyze some people critical about this. They say, you are in a slumber, you are in Vibhanga, you are in sleepiness and thinking this is as Nibbana. So there is a I don't know the exactly word, in a self-made world you think you are in the higher place. I asked them to, if for the critical people, this is coming out of a discipline, it is not it's a gift, it is not a coincidence. You know, chronologically, after discipline is happening. And the next thing is less and less defilements. And it needs time factor. You need to, for example, if you wish to be an astronaut, you can't practice within the capacity or within the range of the gravity. You have to go out of the gravity and you have to season yourself. So how the hell you can practice here? When you are in the gravityless situation, each 1 month, strength of the bones reduce 1%. Because you have no weight in your body, so bones won't get enough exercises. So imagine, after a certain amount of time you are in the space, if you come back, you will collapse. Your bones will be just porous. So when you come back, you have to go for shock treatments just to get the strength of the bones. So how can you imagine this within the sphere in the gravity? You have to go and train it. And after training, you have to expect. When you are calculating the world from the gravityless situation, exactly this is not the world you are calculating from the gravity situation. So likewise, now you are not in the sense pleasure. You are not in the matter. Now you are little well and beyond. So you have to let the seasoning. And the other example is, if you are climbing mountain, or you are a mountaineer, after 8,000 feet, you have to sleep at least 3 days in order to accustom to the low oxygen situation. And after 1,000 feet, again you have to camping for 3 days for acclimatization. Like otherwise, if you are going to climb, you will just faint. So this acclimatization, we have the enormous capacity. our human mind, our human body, but it's a matter of time. So therefore, you have to do, and you have to apply the appropriate technology, and you have to be very patient. You have to let the time to mature, and therefore in Burma, this is patient leads to Nibbana. If you are result-oriented and chasing behind a result, that very thing creates another volition. And that is the point, you lose the game. You miss the bus. So, we have to again and again, we have to raise the question from the different point of view, to answer from the different point of view, and we have to digest according to our personality traits, and keep on practicing. So, it's a lifelong experiment.
In walking meditation, if the only walking path available is too rough to the feet, is there any point, within brackets use, walking in slippers?
That is also possible, but yet another healthy alternative is when you keep on practicing on the rough sand, your soul becomes rough, very healthy. So therefore, keep on practicing with the slippers or stockings or something like that. But mind you, when you are practicing on this kind of thing, you develop kind of a resistance, you develop kind of a hardening process, you develop kind of a seasoning process. And I think that now I am sometimes using the slippers because that doctors advise me to use it, otherwise I will go back to the pneumonia. So earlier, when Jnanananda and myself, we usually don't use slippers. And if someone going to offer slippers, we say we are inbuilt. Not necessary. So when I go abroad, many find fault with me. And even when I go to Burma, even Upanishad Sahara told, you fellows are very careful about the head, but not careful about the feet, so you fall into phlegm problems. But I never use it. Because this is so hard. I can climb coconut trees. No problem. So therefore, please be back to the Mother Earth. Don't try to get alienated. We see this softness is because your alienation from the Mother Earth. Go back. And I am not talking against the slippers. I am not against the companies making slippers. But I am telling, make use of little by little, ultimately you develop your own slippers. And these are the legs are such a, the thing can evolve. So therefore use it, no problem. But mind you, the body knowledge has its own alternative. It's a very natural outcome. So you have to be a little open. Otherwise you will be thinking about the comfort or the luxury for the body. And ultimately it's never ending. That baby is always crying. Whatever you give, it used to cry. And let them cry. You mind your own business. Maybe that I am too rough, and maybe I am too local, and maybe I am just a bumpkin from the village. So I can give. But you people claim that I have come from the Colombo one, I have come from that village and city. I feel very sorry for you people. That's all. I feel very sorry because the hands and the legs, if you are not exercising properly, you are sickening. It has to walk in the different rugged soils. So Azerbaijan is the highest and the mountain area in the world. You get the most long-living people in Azerbaijan because for daily they have to climb down the water, climb down for water and the firewood. So they are climbing on the different rocks. So their legs are getting different angles and different reflexological massaging. Hands are always in use. So need no any kind of yoga exercises. Need no any counseling. Need no any free association. The body is really back with the nature. So it appears like little barbaric and going back to the forest and kind of thing. But the Buddha is telling, enter into the forest, go under a tree and sit in a solitude place. So it is a part and parcel. Back to the nature, back to the Mother Earth.
Most Venerable Sir, It is said that we must not contemplate on any aspect of Dhamma during intensive meditation practice. Should we reflect on Dhamma at other times, other than cultivating mindfulness of the present moment? If so, which aspect of Dhamma you recommend to contemplate on?
So I would like to ask, which is the time you separated to be away from the mindfulness? If you can define that time, I will come out with a suggestion. What is the time period you try to be unmindful? Right? What is the time you are trying to keep away from the mindfulness? If you can define that time, I can give the best thing to reflect upon.
Wonderful, sir.
There is no, how to call this, response. That means we are going to the next question.
Venerable sir, my mind naturally goes to the vibrations in my body. I struggle to make the breath my meditative object. Is it a must that I make the breath my meditation object?
Breath is also another vibration in the body. So you have to be, at the beginning, you give it as a priority. You select this as a pivotal point. Use it as a benchmark, the reference mark. Ultimately, you find the body vibrations and the breath vibrations are the same. Then you know you are well within the meditation. So, and less and less the breath become prominent. Less and less breath become conspicuous. So that is the time you have to generalize and go back to the body vibration. And it's a wider, less tension. You can be with the whole body. That means you are not with the sense pleasure. You are not with the sense perception. You are in the materiality. Or or sometimes when you are closing the eyes and observe, the vibrations are something not realistic. A mind-made. Sometimes jerks happen, sometimes heat waves and everything happen. When you open and see, it is not there. So maybe Rupa or Rupa Sanya. So breath also merge into that. So therefore, nothing to worry. You can be happy. Now I am not with the sense pleasure. I am not with the sense perception. I am either in the Rupa or Rupa Sanya. So be aware. At least be aware and 2 steps ahead. And when you accustom this, familiarize this, season this, the mind knows how to lead. Before leading, before taking the next step, it must relax. It must acclimatize. It must season with the present setup. So for that, you have to be very patient. You have to go step by step. So therefore, this is a good, appear like a generalization from the specialization. Because mindfulness on the breath is a specialized subject. The vibration of the body is general thing. So they have to merge each other and familiarize each other. So you let them to happen. It is like merging of the left lobe of the brain and the right lobe of the brain. The right one is always specialized, very rational, very linear, very specific in communication. The left brain is totality. Everything is within. So when they never talk each other. But in the meditation you can see the rational, specific thing also happen. Accepting the totality also happen. Both of them are 2 lobes of the same truth. So you have to accommodate it because it is coming from your discipline. It is not a coincidence. And you know it happens only when the mind becomes less and less defiled. So it's a good condition for them to mutually understand each other, merging each other. So it is called the depth and the width of the knowledge. Sometimes very deep, very narrow. Sometimes wide, very thin. So it's called the width and the depth. So both are 2 aspects of the same knowledge.
What about the sound vibration you hear sometimes?
The sound vibration also matters once your eardrum vibrates.
Because I can hear this humming sound continuously.
Yeah, so that means you have forgotten about seeing, you have forgotten about smelling, you have forgotten about tasting, you have forgotten about the other vibrations. So your vibrations become your specific this thing, but it's still also a part and parcel of the body vibration. Because whatever can give any message, whatever the sound can relate it to you as far as it come and strike on your eardrum. All the sounds can't make any message to you. And at that time you must be ready to forego seeing, must be ready to forego smelling, tasting, touching, and you have some karmic forces to get hooked up with this sound. So therefore now sound explain the present moment. It indicates you are not dead because you are listening. You are not sleepy, you are not listening, you are listening. You are not unconscious. That becomes your focal point. So, today talk, we thought about the role of the volitional activity. Volitional activity is cognitive, it is about the behavioral, and two other aspects, the cognitive and aesthetic aspect. Feeling. Feeling, some people go with the feeling, they people are somewhat aesthetic people. Some people are cognitive with the fear, sanya and vijnana. They are intuitive. The sankhara is talking about your discipline, how to behave with all the kinds. So, that's two, basically three personality types. Feeling type, cognitive type, cognitive type. So therefore some people get attracted to their own due responses, due impingements. So each and everyone must be verified and see it is not a hallucination, it's not a daydreaming, it's something real happened. So that only you can do it. No one can find ways and means to say whether you are dreaming, whether you are in a hallucination. As far as it is not a daydreaming and hallucination, that means verifiable, it's a well and good object for meditation, well and good object for mindfulness. Don't question it. And last time I went to Perth, and there were a lot of questions and about the sound of silence. And luckily I read the book by Venerable Bhikkhu Amaro. I talk about the sound of silence and inner listening. So then one couple came out and told, I told this is best to translate that into English, Sinhala, and give. And recently only again a chain of emails came. No one has done so far. So I told this is something very special because Venerable Amaro has collected all information regarding this listening in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Tripitaka, and in the novels. And he says everyone has talked about that. It is nothing spiritual, but it's a sign of solitude. It's a sign of back at home. It's a sign to say, I am awake. It's a boring, eerie sound. So feel like I am very old lady, no one take care, I am cornered, I am outcasted, I am thrown away. You are. You are old lady. Finished. Now no one is attracted in this thing. So the sound is the one coming to you, hugging you and kissing you. So therefore each and every novel, they came out with it. They told we try to avoid this eerie sound, that is why we develop music. Whenever you are listening to your sound, it's called inner sound, it is called cicada, in the recording there was cicada, or sometimes called the sound of silence, or some people say it is like ringing 1,000 bells at a time. Sometimes they call it a jet sound. When the jet engine is starting, there's a kind of unresistible kind of a sound. And the Buddha mentioned in one time, I can't remember, it is like a grasshopper sounds. It's a grasshopper. So I am fine. Once I read it, but still I can't find the quotation. The Buddha says that when you are living in the forest, in the isolated and solitude and cornered, you are filled with the sound and indicate that no one is interested at you. You are being cornered. You are lonely. And you hate this sound. Instead you happy to listen, someone is close by, civilized place, and no, you will never come. So when you are in the forest and you are listening, you are bound to listen. Sometimes you mixed up with this grasshopper sounds. And all of a sudden, since that thing that the king come with the whole forces, elephants, horses, the chariots and the soldiers, and they start drum beating and shooting and fighting, then Buddha asks, what happened to this sound of grasshoppers? It's no more. You can't think about it because so much of drum beating and so much of social sounds. And you can't think about that. But then Buddha is asking, after the king left the forest, then what happened? Again you come back to the same sound. So this is a kind of a hint. It is in our literature, but in that book it has not been quoted. I am also, once I read it, now I wish to get the quotation, still I can't find it. And this indicates that it's a we can reach Nibbana through sounds. We can reach our mind, understand the mind through thoughts, through sounds, through visual objects, through smell, through taste, through touch. The touch is the one often we use in the classical meditation. But sounds also can lead. Recently there was one music by Premisari Kemadasa, and one person who experienced the second jhana, he came and told, but when you are listening to that sound, definitely you are going to the second jhana level. You feel the vibration. And there are some sound systems, it's a Dolby system, when you put the two earphones and switch on, you come to a kind of a vibration as if you are in an ecstasy, kind of a jhanic experience. So they are selling it now. Different ways.
Bhante, will the body vibrations and the sound vibration merge? Because they are both present at the same time.
They are just energies. Once manifested you call sound or light or smell or touch or kind of thing. It depends on your desire. If you boil down, it's mere energy. Once your consciousness come and collapse, it can collapse as a sound or color or smell or touch or kind of thing. So therefore, you are the one creating this sound, and you are going to say, no, there's a sound is outside, I am just a listener. Buddha says it is mere energy. Out of that energy, you create the thing according to your likings and dislikings, your personality. Ultimately, you find it, telling the sound is there, I am only listening.
No, I feel that the sound is coming from inside the head.
So so the same thing, yet another person can manifest or can say it appear like a light, it appear like lightness, or it appear like a smell, it appear like a taste. So the particular label and particular manifestation is according to your personality. But it's a mere universal conscious energy, cosmic energy. It manifests according to you. So Buddha says, Game aranye sukha dukkha buddho nevattana nocha parandaheya pusanti passa upadim paticca nirupadim kena pusayum passa. Buddha says, when you are living in a forest or a village, happiness and unhappiness can come and touch you. Don't find fault with this happiness and pain, either myself or outside. You think this happiness is due to him or her, this unhappiness is due to him or her. No, Buddha says, happiness and unhappiness are decided by your own likings and disliking. If you have gone beyond the liking and disliking, what nonsense you are talking about the happiness and unhappiness. As far as you are not going beyond, you say that particular person causes me happiness, that person causes me unhappiness. That is because your mind is not gone through, not seen through. So everything becomes happiness or unhappiness according to your value judgment, according to your liking and disliking. So you never try to see from that viewpoint. You think that other person is angry with me or is happy with me. That is why he creates liking and disliking, the happiness and unhappiness. But it is a good point, you have to go deep into that. Even if it is someone is doing, two different people read two things. According to their own likings and dislikings. So therefore, the cosmic energy collapses according to your wish. That is why it clearly what you see, that you are. Wherever you go, there you are. Earlier Buddha mentioned, now scientifically they are writing books after books. But you wish to see the thing you are looking at. Itagiyadana, Adara Raja, Maligawa Sade, that is the way in Sinhala. Kabaru goya unat khanda puluwan, tala goya kara khanda puluwan, khanda orena. Sorry that I am using some kind of a local this thing. So that is the way we create our world and ultimately we hate it. But instead interpreting it, Buddha says go back to the mechanism and see the way you create. You talk about sound, yet another person talk about light, another person talk about the lightness.
So I don't try to bring my mindfulness to the breath.
Oh, that is the first question.
Yes.
Whether to keep the breath here or the body vibration. So my answer was the breath also another kind of body vibration. That your sound also yet another type of a body vibration. So don't try to be choosy and specialized. Once in a way you anything happen, you are just ready to accept it. Sometimes whenever the mind is using the left hemisphere, you are specific. Usually it is coming from the head or coming from the eardrum. But ultimately, if you are ready to accept it, no grudge, no judgmental, no reacting, then you can see, you can accept it.
Most Venerable Bhante, after disappearance of breath, thoughts come. However, if I don't entertain them, I can't remember any of them, even though I was in a state of mindfulness. When we get thoughts without thinking, we can't remember them unless we entertain. Please let me know whether my inference is correct.
For that I would say, when I was in Panditarama, the one person mentioned, when I am observing the rising and falling, that's primary object, there were some background thoughts. And there were foreground thoughts. And what can I do? Then after getting the translation into Burmese, I said, these people are talking about the foreground thoughts and the background thoughts. And I don't know what they are talking about. Like, he came out and said, would you mind to explain little bit what you mean by? There is an American person, he told, after you inform, my main subject is rising and falling. And sometimes I feel thoughts are coming without any content. Some thoughts are coming having the content, they are trained thoughts, they are chain thoughts, I can remember it. So when that can happen, what is my attitude? I think this is somewhat parallel. And then he gave us such a lucid explanation, and one of the Singaporean monk immediately wrote it. And even now, it is in the Panditarama website about this wandering thoughts. And that is very clearly Sayadaw mentioned, whether you like it or not, as far as the mind is there, thoughts are there. Just like the sea is there, waves are there. No sea without waves, no wave without sea. So even the Buddha had thoughts. And we try to be so theoretically maximum, we try to do completely away. So ultimately we are heading for an unachievable task. So therefore you have to understand, anything volitionally you do, you are responsible. Anything happen, nothing to worry. But it won't appear like a reasonable answer. So therefore you expect the sea without any waves. But as far as no tsunami, no problem. But only tsunami comes, already wiped off all the seashore and every kind. Then you have to have alarming system, and otherwise, Sea means waves, waves means sea. So therefore, when you are understanding thought with the thinker, that I am thinking, thought without thinker, 99% thoughts are without a thinker. And if you are going to worry about them, you are the person get agitated. Because the Buddha says it is happening asampajana mano sankhara. Asampajana mano sankhara, you are not responsible, it is happening habitually. And you have to observe it. And don't worry. Main thing is not to worry, but thing is we are masters of worrying, not warriors. We are finding reason after the reason to be worried and say, oh, what the life that is so full of suffering. Aniccan dukkhaṃ anattaṃ, aniccaṃ dukkhaṃ anattaṃ. But no productive, no positive, not open to the present moment. So this is not a good outlook to the meditation. You must understand, sounds are there, not addressing you. Pains are there, bearable. Thoughts are there, without a thinker. If you understand it, that means the seeds are there, they are not viable. No problem. Seed will be a problem if it is viable, but these things are not viable because you are well ahead. The pains are there, you can bearable. Outside sounds are there, they are not addressing me. Thoughts are there without any thinker, so you are not answerable. And to be Samma Sambuddha, you must answerable. But to be an Arahant, this is not a problem. It is not within your jurisdiction. Samma Sambuddha answerable to even to them, because when the people ask, he has to give kind of a, they think it is called omniscient knowledge. It is not necessary for you to get emancipated.
So, Venerable Bhante, is it correct then that memory is not an issue, but it's reflection that causes concern?
Memory can be an issue for a foolish. You are making issues out of the memory as far as you are fool. You are not in the present moment. But memory in the terms of atita, ubbeni vasuna jnana, that means past life and kind of thing, it's a gift. It is happening because mind is in the least frictional part, in the comfort zone. So therefore past life can happen. But it never creates a disturbance, it never creates a burden. It's an endowment for you, it's a blessing for you. You are not chasing behind, it can happen. That you can make use to make the life easier. And that can happen on the principle basis. If the present moment is such, past also would have been like that, it's a deductive. But the Buddha says, you clearly remember the past life, the name, the color, the food, the clothings. That means past memory comes. But it's always an endowment for you, blessing for you. It never creates any problem. So now, if you are rephrasing the question, what is the question?
I think you answered that. Bhante, I think you answered that, because my question was, memory is not an issue, but is it reflection? So the fact that you actually volitionally, through agency, you interfere with the process, i.e. your cognitive capacity, that recollect, and the fact that you're intervening, I think that's when the issues happen. So I think that's
why the friction arises. That's why it's become a case. That's why you get committed into. But it can happen without get committed into. The wild beast to be wild beast, don't go and get trouble out of that. It is there.
There is a second part to that question. After breath disappears, in some instances, I see a blue space. Although there is a color, I don't see matter and no end to this colored space. Is this the space we are referring to in the 6 elements?
No, not clear. You may please repeat it.
After breath disappears, in some instances, I see a blue space. Although there is a color, blue space.
Space. Okay, yes.
A blue space. Although there is a color, I don't see matter and no end to this colored space. Is this a space we are referring to in the 6 elements?
No, that if you understand, if you go to the blue mountain range, that mountain appear like after a certain distance blue color. But if you go to the forest, it is green color. Sky also the same, that our mind made it, we are colorblind people, we project it as a blue. Now it is the sea is blue, sky is blue, blue mountain is blue. When the forest is becoming far distance, that is the way we have comprehend it. So it indicates the distance. Kind of a long, far away things we recognize as a blue. So it is another perception. Our mind, some or the other going to tackle it, some or the other going to put a label, some or the other going to comprehend it, because it needs some reference point. It needs kind of a pivotal point. It needs kind of a benchmarks. So all the colors, all the shapes are nothing but projections of the mind. And we use them in communication with others. So therefore, you can't arrive at a decision telling this is absolute. And you can't directly say it is not also. So therefore you have to understand, now my mind has kind of a space, kind of a relaxation, kind of a freedom to entertain rather than earlier tense mind, earlier frustrated mind. So this is a better situation. But by few incidents, you are not arriving at decision. You are 1001 times, let it happen again and again. That is exactly the word meaning of meditation. First you associate, telling that when the mind becomes spacious, when the mind becomes free, I free blue color. Okay. But that does not indicate absolute. So you have to familiarize it again and again, this acquainted thing, you have to familiarize. When you are familiarizing only, you can make it sure, is it a mind-made hallucination or it end up, even in 1,000 times I am going to end up with like that. So therefore, bhaviti bahuli karoti, asevati bhaviti bahuli karoti. This is asevana, that is just what the acquaintance. So next thing is, do your meditation in such a way, again and again you can go to this state, because it's a better state. And more familiarizing, your perception to that evolves. Now it has with the limited experience, limited acquaintance. More and more you go there, everything becomes insignificant. If you have a short knowledge and partial knowledge, it becomes significant. So there's one book called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And ultimately in the small letters it says everything is a small stuff. Carl Sagan. It's a very famous, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Because Padmasiri Silla gave me personal copy. Because for me, nothing in the valuable in the world, everything is insignificant for me. People come and say, this is a very critical problem, very serious problem. For 1 or 2 days, yes. What I do is I sleep with that problem 2 days. 3rd day, it is nothing. In Sinhala, sorry for the English only crowd, විනෝද සමයේ අමාරිසයි එක දවසක් කියනවා ඉස්කෝලේ මහත්තයා එනකොට මේ ඉස්කෝලේ මහත්තයා අපි යනවා මේ කිඹුළු අල්ලන්නේ. ඉස්කෝලේ මහත්තයා පිස්සු කතා කරනවාද මේ කිඹුළු අල්ලන්නේ කොහොමද මේ අමාරිසය දෙන්නේ නෑ මට බොහොම ලීලිකමක් තියෙනවා පුංචි කල් බලන කණ්ණාඩියක් තියෙනවා ගිනි පෙට්ටියක් තියෙනවා. කිඹුල දිහා බැලුවා පොඩි කරලා බැලුවා ගිනි පෙට්ටියට දාගත්තා. ඊගාව එක බැලුවා අල්ලගත්තා. අන්න අමාරිසයිගේ කණ්ණාඩි ඉල්ලගන්න භාවනා හරිය ලේසි. මේ අපි මේ ලොකු කරලා පෙන්නන්න හදන දේවල් තන්නේ කර පොලිටිකල් එන්න එකක් තියෙනවා. තන්නේ කර සෝෂල් එන්න එකක් තියෙනවා. තාසිත කර ඉකොනොමිකල් එන්න එකක්. අපි ඒව ලොකු කර ඒවට තියරිස් හදා මේ පිස්සු නෑ. So I am referring is you must always have a පොඩිකල් බන්න කන්නට මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? The lens for minimizing 4 defilements. You must have a magnifying glass for the skillfulness. Whatever good thing, you try to be happy, glad, and that is expanding the good side. Whenever bad side happen, I use that Amarisayas, the glass, look at it, small, and put it in a box of matches and throw it. It appears like a game, but ultimately it's very, very relaxing. The people right round always make something tension. They come and prove. So when the Godwin used to listen, people coming with the different countries and with a lot of problems and mental problems, and he's very attentive and 3 times other person is completely attentive, but Godwin is not there. Finished. And when Sri Yogashrama Sanstava, when Pandita Sayadaw used to be in the Galduva, Yogashrama Sanstava, there are 120 places. Each and every place is a mess. The Ayakas are fighting each other, and so they come with the files and all the kind of thing, with hiring a car and going to him and says, Swami Nasa, this is the case, you have to take a decision, you see it is difficult to work, this kind of thing. And he used to say, Deyak nae, nama gila gilambasa tiyak gannako. Anik katti ennako. So one monk wrote a book on Deyak nae. So that means that don't sweat the small stuff. At last everything is small stuff. At the deathbed, what we are talking about now? From the death point of view. From the life point of view, death is a big thing. But if you are looking from the death point of view, these trivial things, how much blood boiling, how much fuel you are burning. And you are burning the candle from both the ends, and you say it's a wastage. Instead, look at the problem from the perspective of the whole life, whole samsara and the death point of view. Nothing. So it's a matter of changing your perspective. So in a circle like this, we can talk and joke. But what about the people in the normal basic needs? They don't have the basic needs and kind of thing. They can't think about it is something bread and butter for them. So therefore we must understand, we are also making the small stuff very magnificent, magnifying. Kenda kanda karanda hadana. Make mountain out of molehill, or cyclone in the teacup. So we are masters. And these are what we call novels. These are what we give the Nobel Prizes. But then where can we have a solace? Where can we have the solitude? Where can we have the peace of mind? Where can we have any kind of happiness in the life? Never. So therefore use that book, Carl Sagan, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff.
Most Venerable Bhante, I was proceeding well during the first few days with Anapanasati meditation, and I was able to note subtler and subtler breath with some physical, subtle and subtle breath, full stop, with some physical sensations accompanying the process. But after I started having a severe cough and cold, my effort became rather unproductive today. I'm still persevering.
I'm still?
Persevering.
So nothing lying. Keep on doing. You are earlier looking at the air element, now you are looking at the flame, the fluidity. So it's just a changing from one channel to the other channel, 2 elements. So if one is disturbed, you can see what the mess, what the agony in the life. If all the 4 elements are disturbed, death. That is Asivisopama Sutta. The Buddha is giving, when you see the Shiva, the God, they have serpents, one here, one on the neck, one on the back. So he appears like very proud, having 4 serpents in the 4 sides. But that is like 4 elements, Buddha says. It appears like a garland. It appears like ornament, but the moment the serpent become virulent and disturbed, what will be the end of it? If one serpent going to bite you, that very garland ultimately will the death sentence. If the 2 serpents, if the 3 serpents and the 4 serpents going to bite you, the very thing that you hold as a garland and the ornament, everything is disturbing you. So therefore still if you can maintain the mindfulness, you can see even the 1 or 2 elements are agitated, still the mindfulness can stand still. Observe it. It can witness it. That's the point you can see the elements can be at the peace, at the least frictional path, whatever may be, or even if it's agitated, you have to maintain the mindfulness, you have to support the mindfulness, you have to stand for the mindfulness. Ultimately you will see even such a difficult and unfortunate situation happen, there is a possibility for mindfulness to continue. So that is the way you support, that is the way you facilitate under the difficult situation, how much I can maintain the mindfulness. That is called perseverance, it is called striving. It is not a try. This is not a try, this is a strive. You know what is to maximize. And so many impediments happen, it's your own one. So more and more you undergo it, your mindfulness becomes very steadfast, very sound, very continuous, and you can say, now I can stand for 3 elements going bad, or 4 elements going bad. Your tolerance, your immunity increasing. So therefore each thing appears like a blessing in disguise. So let it happen before you become too old, when too sick, too nearing the death. So it's a kind of a rehearsal and training program. Better to look at the world, look at the life, look at the difficulties through the lens of mindfulness. So under the light of mindfulness, ever you are learning.
This is the last question. Venerable Sir, when your mind is free from defilements, with sati in full force, the mind is fully energized. In our day-to-day existence, especially when we have many tasks, if we are able to maintain sati, would this same energy force be there? Okay.
Sure. That you can't imagine the amount of the potential, the capacity you have. You are so narrow-minded, you ask comfort. So if you wish to understand the full capacity of the life, the full capacity of the brain, you have to let everything happen without any discrimination. Each and everyone is expanding, increasing the scope, and any difficulty will be a teacher. Any mishap, any mistake will be a teacher. I don't know the exact meaning of the term capacitization. And can anyone give any idea? Capacitization means increasing the capacity day by day. So, whenever you put your children under the comfort zone, you are disabling them. You are depriving them. So, when we are born, our parents are so confident. When you go to the river, for 5-6 hours we are not available. When you are about to climb trees, they don't know where we are. We 11 children, early morning count them and put out, and the evening they count them and take it, that's it. So I am so blessed, and so much of village children, we play together, no insurance, no medical care. If one limb missing or something like that, parents have little time to look into that, otherwise they don't care. And we are not complaining also, because if they complain, they hit us. So they earn something to eat and drink, and still we run and break our neck. So therefore all the difficulties made the life full-fledged. And it's a full dramatic, full eventful. So ultimately you find that other people, those who are not exposed, They think they are comfortable, they are luxurious, they are rich. I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry because they missed the bus. And you all, I am accusing, you are misleading your children. Each and every of you. Misleading children, giving facilities. And 3 generations time, they will be culprits. They will be devastating people to the nature. The way they have been trained and narrowing it to that comfort area. So that is not that, I don't consider this as the best way to expose the children to the nature. So only, except the Buddha exposed monks into the complete nature, only the other movement is the Girl Guide and the Boy Scouts. No other thing. Every other thing is assuring your comfort. That means you are disabling you. You are alienated with this nature. So therefore let the thing happen. It appear like a steamrolling. And more you increase your capacity. And you can see you can live then and there. Not entertaining fear. Not entertaining the security. Not anything. You be just in the presence of the Mother Nature. And the things happen in their own accord, very beautiful. And still, here and there in the village, you find it now. And we are trying our best to give the infrastructure for that villages. And communication facilities for these villages. And ultimately you are depriving all the children, putting them away from the nature. So therefore, let them to be village lads, entertain them, and they will be full-fledged living. And now Sri Lanka is well addicted to the Western thinking and Western norms, Western criterion, and the West already understood now their mistakes, but we are still chasing behind. Still chasing behind, blindfoldly, out of the Thailand, Sri Lanka and Burma. Sri Lanka is in a worse situation. Worst. We lost our calendar. We lost our language. We lost our basic food system. Everything we try to adjust into the West. But the Burmese people have their own guts. Thai people have their own this thing. They have their own backbone, cultural backbone. So we have to, I don't know whether you're going backward or forward, whatever may be, but we try to, true to type, be according to the season of the country, the geography of the country. Then only we will be really Bhumiputra, children of their own earth. That is it happen. So therefore difficulties are the real acid tests and putting we through the mill. And each and every one we are hardening, we are seasoning. And yogic life, the bhikkhu life, full of events, is the best. I am sorry you people are all white cloth people. Okay, that's the end of the written questions. There are any other we can take time, otherwise we will be wind up the session. Okay, happy to be no more questions. So, we'll declare this is the end of our common interview session. Thank you very much for everyone participated. Thero Saranayi.